It is October 11th, 2022. This is our weekly business meeting. It is 2 p.m. In attendance are Commissioners Filios, Brooks, and Duncan, and I will call for a moment of silence now. All right. And if Sergeant Miller is in attendance, would he lead the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. As far as changes to the agenda, we have items number 2, 27, 28, and 29 being pulled. Is there anything else? All right, hearing none, I will take a motion to approve minutes 1, 3, and 4.
I move that we approve items 1, 3, and 4 under the meeting minutes.
Second.
Commissioner Filios?
Aye.
Bill Brooks?
Aye.
Chair Duncan?
Aye. All right, on to consent calendar. This is items 5 through 9.
I move that we approve the consent calendar items 5 through 9.
Second.
Commissioner Filios?
Aye.
Bill Brooks?
Aye.
Chair Duncan?
Aye. Payables list.
I move that we approve the payables for the week of 3 October to 7 October 2022 in the amount of $2,474,532.37 with no jury panel payments.
Second.
Commissioner Filios?
Aye.
Bill Brooks?
Aye.
Chair Duncan?
Aye. Thank you. Motion passes. Our first business item is material staging agreement, Ednetics, Inc., solid waste. Is our director, John Phillips, there?
John Phillips is not present. I'm Doug Goodwin, Operations Manager with Solid Waste. So this is a material staging agreement with Ednetics. They're going to be doing video surveillance for us at our Worley, Worley Rural site. And this is just an agreement for them to be able to program and work on the equipment while it's still in their possession.
Great. Any questions?
Nope.
Motion?
I move that we approve the material staging agreement with, and how do you say it?
Ednetics.
Yes, Ednetics and Solid Waste.
Second.
Commissioner Filios?
Aye.
Bill Brooks?
Aye.
Chair Duncan?
Aye. Motion passes. Item 12, professional services agreement, FY23 for parametric and solid waste. Is this going to be Mr. Goodwin or is this Angela?
This is Angela Bergeson for the record, Business and Finance Manager for Solid Waste. And the professional services agreement for FY23 is a renewal. We do this each year with them. They do the all of the environmental monitoring for the landfill, and we update it for the scope each year and costs. And it is all within budget.
Thank you. Questions or motion?
I move that we approve the professional services agreement for FY23 with parametrics.
Second.
Commissioner Filios?
Aye.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye, motion carries. And item 13, third amendment to the metals recycling contract with American Recycling. And Ms. Bergeson again.
Yes, on this, Angela Bergeson for the record again, not sure if I needed to say that. Contract renewal, this is the third amendment with American Recycling. They take all the metals recyclables for the solid waste department. It's been a great agreement. This is not a cost for Kootenai County. This is one that we get reimbursed for depending on the value of the metals that they collect from us. So we would like to renew, this is a 1-year extension.
All right, questions or motion?
I move that
None for me.
we approve the third
Go ahead,
amendment
Bill.
to metals recycling contract with American Recycling in our solid waste department.
Second.
Commissioner Filios,
Aye.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye, motion passes. Item 14, morgue trailer MOU and coroner update. Is our coroner, Dr. Keene, present?
Yes, Warren Keene from the coroner's office for the record. What you have before you is designed by or drafted by Jamila from legal, and then it was circulated to the other counties that have participated in the funding for the refrigerated morgue trailer for mass fatality events. And what I'd like to do is also reiterate to the public and to the commissioners your insight into funding for this morgue trailer. This is actually over a year and a half ago at the end of fiscal 21 where you repurposed some funding, made a commitment for ARPA funding as well as grant funding to allow us to purchase this trailer to be used in the northern counties. And I would appreciate your signing off on all of the stuff that's already been approved for you.
All right, one question, Dr. Keene, and does this MOU apply to Kootenai County as well? So we're bound by these use restrictions as well?
Correct.
Perfect, thank you. Any other questions or motion?
Okay, I'll make the motion on this one. And so I will move that we adopt the Region 1 MOU.
I hope we'll never have to use it, but I second the motion.
Yeah, amen.
Commissioner Filios,
Aye.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye, and motion passes. Thank you. Item 15, airport work order number.
I wanted to just add a little bit on the coroner's update for the coroner's office. We have 2 full-time deputies and 2 part-time deputies. Our last part-time deputy is now scheduled to sit for the board exam for the American Board of Medical Legal Death Investigators. He's been in the office long enough to have enough time and has met all the other requirements, and so we're going to have, again, a full office of board-certified death investigators in the coroner's office. And also, on another note, staffing issues have come up with some of our contractual people, and another transport company has declined to participate with the coroner's office. Again, that leaves us with 1 transport and storage group that are willing to work with us. So far, it's been working great. In the future, the county may have to do an RFP to find out if there's other interested parties, or it may go the other way, which the commissioners have been reluctant to do, is to build a freestanding lab to meet all the needs of the county. But that's all I have for the update.
Okay, I'd be happy to schedule a special meeting when I return, and we can discuss this further, what all of our options are going forward.
Sure.
Makes sense.
All right, thank you, Dr. Keene.
Thank you.
All right, item 15, airport work order 22-003, wildlife training, TO engineers. Stephen Kiergaard.
Commissioner Stephen Kierkegaard for the record. This is a task order for TO to complete a wildlife training at the airport. This has to be completed every year by a certified wildlife biologist. Luckily, TO actually has somebody on staff that meets that requirement. It's in the amount of $2,500, and it's a yearly thing to meet our 139 certification that we have to do.
Okay, and Stephen, how much is that per person that gets the training?
Around $250.
Okay, so $450 to get the wildlife training.
$250.
All right. Oh, do you have 10 people getting the training?
Yep, all 10 of us at this airport got training.
Gotcha. Okay, any further questions or motion?
I move that we approve the airport work order number 22-003 for wildlife training with TO engineers.
Second.
Commissioner Filios,
Aye.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Chair Duncan,
Aye, motion passes. Item 16, airport work order amendment number 1 to work order 22-02, which is the rehab runway of 624 and construct taxiway B4 design only with TO engineers. Stephen?
Commissioners, this is a reduction of $9,840 of the total work. It removes the PAPI design, distance remaining signs, and then also the removal of taxiway Delta design. And it just is a reduction of $9,840 because the FAA requested that be removed. Those items be removed. This does.
Okay, will those, sorry, it's hard to keep up with the delay. Go ahead, Stephen.
Yeah, the FAA requested these items be removed. They were not included in the grant. This is just a correction to address behind this because the FAA removed them in about 3 days before the grant issuance. And we were not able to make paperwork move that fast.
Okay, will this design work need to be done in the future?
The taxiway Delta removal will, but that will be done as a different design project as part of the taxiway Foxtrot extension.
Okay, thank you. Questions or motion?
Yeah, I have a question. The revised lump sum fee, the $365,000 and change, you say will be billed. Who's paying for this?
It is. The FAA's grant has already been issued in that dollar amount. We will pay for, we have a 10% match of that. The FAA will pay the 90%. The state will typically put in at least 2.5% and up to possibly up to 5%, leaving us with between 5% and between 7 and 7.5% of that total amount.
Okay, and I presume that'll come from your fund balance?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Chris, it's Jolena. That's already been approved, though.
Yeah. Chris, that already has been approved. This is just an amendment to reduce the contract amount.
All right, if no more questions, I'll take a motion.
Okay, so I'll take this one. I move that we approve work order 22-02, amendment number 1 for the reduction in fee for the Coeur d'Alene Airport to rehabilitate runway 624 and construct taxiway B4 design only. These are reduced design services. End of motion.
I second the motion.
Commissioner Filios,
Aye.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Chair Duncan,
Aye, motion carries. And item number 17, financial budget, request to purchase unbudgeted items, the self-contained breathing apparatus for the ARF team. And this is, once again, Stephen.
Commissioner Stephen Kerrigan for the record. We have received we previously discussed this in a airport meeting. We are requesting to use fund balance allocated toward Phantom Drive to purchase SCBA equipment or self-contained breathing apparatus in the amount of $35,183. We have already spoken with OEM, and they are going to be able to provide a grant amount of $10,877.14, bringing our amount to $24,305.86. However, I need budget approval to purchase the $35,183 in order to purchase this, as our current equipment is failing.
All right. Question or motion?
I move that we approve the request to purchase the unbudgeted items, self-contained breathing apparatus with ARFF in the airport.
Second.
Chairman Philios?
Aye.
What?
No, you meant
Oh,
Commissioner.
golly gee whiz, Commissioner Philios. I'm sorry.
Wake up, wake up.
Okay.
I am. I just am very confused. Bill Brooks?
Aye.
Chair Duncan?
Aye, and budget request is approved. Number 18, board approval request, notice to proceed. TML construction for the snow removal equipment building at the airport. Stephen?
Commissioner Stephen Kierkegaard again for the record. This is our notice of proceed for TML construction to start work on the snow removal building. Hopefully we can get it done in time. So that's it.
All right, and then this last bid actually came in underneath the engineer's projection. Is that correct?
That is correct. It came in about $1 million under.
Okay. All right. Questions or motion?
Yeah, I've got a question. So, Stephen, how does this break out between the FAA and us if the FAA is even involved?
The FAA will be paying 90% of this project. We will be paying a little, so under 10% of this project. The state will actually be kicking in excess of $300,000 because they have actually awarded an additional $300,000 this project as well. But for this initial starting project, they have allocated at least 2.5%, if not 5%, to this $1.7 approximately $1 million project.
Okay, so when I read the notice to proceed, it says snow removal equipment building Schedule A, and then it refers to Schedules B, C, D, and E. So are we approving A through E?
Yes, that was included in the contract that was approved last week, or 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. This is just the notice.
Okay, I got it.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. I'm fine.
Are we ready for? Okay, motion, please.
Sure, I'll take this. Okay, so I move that we award the contract to TML Construction for contract, and this is contract number 3-16-0010-0056.
I think we're on the wrong thing.
I'm sorry?
I think we're on the wrong thing. This is a notice to
It's
proceed.
notice to proceed.
What item is this?
18.
18.
Yeah, that's the one I was on.
Okay, may
Yeah, so
I
basically,
try it?
Yeah, there's no big numbers in there.
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead, Bill, go ahead.
I move that we approve the notice to proceed with TML construction for the snow removal equipment building in the airport.
Second.
Commissioner Philios?
Aye.
Bill Brooks?
Aye.
Chair Duncan?
Aye, and item is approved.
Thank you,
Item
Commissioner.
19, Board of Approval. Thank you, Stephen.
Thanks, Stephen.
Item 19, board approval request, Passio and bus equipment purchase with our resource management office. Mr. Engel, are you on the phone or are you in person?
I am on the phone. Thank you, Commissioners. This is Chad Engel with the RMO Department for the record. Last year, the board approved the purchase of 3 fixed-route buses. These buses will be delivered soon and need to have our ITS system equipment installed for audio and visual announcements, bus tracking, and passenger counting. Passio Technologies, who is our current ITS provider, will be removing the equipment from the 3 old buses and installing into the 3 new buses. We are budgeted for this expense in our ITS budget. It has been approved in our current POP and STIP. We are seeking approval to expend these funds towards the quote provided by Passio Technologies.
Great. Questions or motion?
None for me. Go ahead, Bill.
I move that we approve the request for Passio to complete the bus equipment purchase with Resource Management Office.
Second.
Commissioner Filios?
Aye.
Bill Brooks?
Aye.
Chair Duncan?
Aye. Motion passes. Item 20, board approval request, adoption of Riverstone Transit Center Emergency Plan, Office of Emergency Management. Sarah, did you make it on the line?
I sure did. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Sarah Lafredo for the record. So this will be the newly developed Riverstone Transit Center Emergency Plan. This plan will provide general emergency instructions to the staff at the RTC, and that's including Resource Management Office as well. It will also provide guidance for CityLink buses to be able to relocate in times of emergency at the center. Legal has already reviewed the plan and provided their opinion, so I'm asking for your approval of adoption.
All right. I just want to make one thing clear that this document is actually not for public record release. So just want to get that on the record. And questions or motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the emergency plan for the Riverstone Transit Center to include the Resource Management Office as well.
I second the motion.
Commissioner Filios?
Aye.
Bill Brooks?
Aye.
Chair Duncan?
Aye, and motion passes. Number 21, grant application. This is the Hazard Mitigation Grant with Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, in the amount of $267,036, cash and in-kind match from North Kootenai Water District, $89,013, and our Office of Emergency Management is our sponsor. So is this Sarah or Tiffany?
This is actually Andrea Spittlefield, for the record. Tiffany wasn't able to make it. So the item before you is an all-hazard mitigation application for North Kootenai Water District. They're applying for backup power for their water system. There is a 25% match required if selected. However, the water district has agreed to meet that requirement and will require no financial commitment by the county. We recommend approving the application so they can be considered for funding by FEMA.
All right, and then question, who would be the grant administrator? Would Kootenai County be responsible for the reporting?
FEMA will enter into a grant use agreement with the water district.
Okay, any further questions or motion?
I move that we approve.
No questions.
I move that we approve the grant application for hazard mitigation grant with the Federal Emergency Management Agency in the amount of $267,036, cash and in-kind match with North Kootenai Water District for $89,013, and Office of Emergency Management.
Second.
Commissioner Filios?
Aye.
Bill Brooks?
Aye.
Chair Duncan?
Aye, and motion passes. Item 22, renewal number 7 to MOU between Idaho Military Division and Kootenai County, Idaho, with the Idaho Military Division and 911. Colin McCroy, are you in person?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Colin Roy for the record. This is our renewal number 7 with Idaho Military Division for our data path down to Meridian for the radio system connection to the Corps. Annual renewal with them, and this year's cost is $33,082.14, and this is a budgeted item in the E911 fund.
All right, thank you. Questions or motion?
I'll move that we approve renewal number 7, which is the MOU between the Idaho Military Division and Kootenai County, Idaho.
I second the motion.
Commissioner Filios?
Aye.
Bill Brooks?
Aye.
Chair Duncan?
Aye, motion passes. Item 23, contract signing.
Thank you, Colin.
This is for SJC Alliance and our community development. Mr. Callahan, please.
Commissioners, David Callahan, Community Development Department. This seeks your approval of an amendment to a contract we have with SCJ. You will recall they are the ones that have been working on the tribal rezoning. They did the Panhandle Health District sewage ordinance, and that was very successful, you'll recall. So now I would like to use them in the same capacity to continue the tribal work, but also take over for me to do the analysis portion that's necessary for the Cougar Gulch rezoning. And it will amount to about $18,535.75 according to SCJ. I would note that we've been short 3 planners for the last 3 months, and I'm losing a 4th planner into this month, so the salary savings should more than make up for the $18,000.
Is it SJC or SCJ?
SCJ Alliance.
That's wrong on the...
It's Shay, Carr, and Jewel.
Okay, good, good.
All right.
I don't have any questions.
Okay. Chair, now I'm doing it. Commissioner Filios, would you be interested in maybe just recusing yourself since your primary home is in this area? I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. If no further questions, I would entertain a motion.
I move that we move ahead with a contract signing with SCJ Alliance and Community Development.
Second.
Bill Brooks?
What about
Well,
Commissioner
he's
Field?
recused himself.
Oh,
so-
you recused, I didn't hear. Oh, what if I...
Yep.
Never mind.
Chair Duncan, you're just trying to confuse me.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you, Commissioners.
All right, item 24. Yes, item 24, City of Dalton Gardens and KCSO contract, and I'm not sure if the mayor is here to speak to it, but this is with our sheriff and patrol, Captain Smart.
Commissioners, Kevin Smart for the record. This is an annual contract with the City of Dalton to provide them a dedicated services of 1 patrol deputy for the current year, October through September of 2023. And in turn, they will reimburse the county in the amount of $125,000 for that.
Okay, I have a question. In section 2, it mentions motor patrols. We're just talking our regular patrol vehicles and not motorcycle. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Any further questions or motion?
How many FTEs?
Go ahead, Bill.
How many FTEs is this? How many full-time equivalents?
Oh, we're putting 1 body over there.
1?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, I'll make a motion. I move that we approve the contract with the City of Dalton Gardens and KCSO.
Second.
Commissioner Filios?
Aye.
Bill Brooks?
Aye.
Chair Duncan?
Aye, motion passes. Thank you. Item 25, board approval request, and this is a request to use fund balance for capital expenditures. It's the conveyor system and tilt kettle for the jail. And Captain Miller?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Stu Miller for the record. This is a little bit of a change. About an hour ago, I was talking to Brandy about this, and in my memo to the Commissioners, I requested $131,308.50, which was approved during budgeting process of FY23, probably August, June. However, I was told by Brandy that fund is actually in our budget. However, I keep having howevers. When I got the updated quotes for this equipment, it is $11,329.50 shy. So instead of asking for $131,308.50, I'm really asking for $11,329.50, which is a huge savings.
11,329 and what?
And 50 cents.
50 cents.
I like how you explain that, but that's not really what's happening here. So, okay, so we just need another $11,329.50 from fund balance in order to approve these things that pretty much can't live without in the jail. So, if there are no more questions, I would take a motion.
Go ahead, Bill.
Okay, I move that we approve the request for fund balance for capital expenditures for the conveyor system and tilt kettle for the sheriff's jail.
Second.
Commissioner Filios?
Aye.
Bill Brooks?
Aye.
Chair Duncan?
Aye, and request is approved. Item 26, board approval request, 2023 recreational safety truck, and this is our rec safety division. Sergeant Miller.
Good afternoon, Commissioner. Sergeant Ryan Miller for the record. Fiscal year 23 budget process, we asked for $60,000 for a truck. $40,000 was approved. The remaining 20 was going to come from the vessel account. Now that we've gotten everything ordered and the prices have changed quite a bit, we're going to be $23,000 over that initial 60. So total of $83,293.60 is where we're currently sitting. So I am asking for, it's going to be a total of $43,293.60 coming from the vessel account dedicated funds. Half this truck is going to be used for backcountry operations and half of its purposes for marine operations. So it seems like it's a fair trade there.
All right. Questions or motion?
Yeah, I have a question. Is there sufficient money in the vessel account?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Okay, I move we approve.
Go ahead, Bill.
I move that we approve the request for 2023 recreation safety truck for the sheriff's office.
Sorry, guys.
I'll second.
I thought the dog was sick.
I'll second.
Okay. Commissioner Filios?
Please mute your dog.
Aye.
Bill Brooks?
Aye.
Chair Duncan?
Aye, and request is approved.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Items 27, 28, 29 have been pulled. Item 30, board approval request for certification of levy rates, the L1, and this is Alicia Lynch for our auditor's office.
Sorry, get my papers out here. Alicia Lynch for the Auditor's Office for the record. The Auditor's Office has calculated the levy rates for 45 taxing districts. We are asking for the board to certify these levy rates for the tax year 2022. 8 of our taxing districts are reserving their foregone. Plummer-Worley School District and the City of Hayden Lake have added ballot measures to increase their budget authority this year. and there was a correction to the packet that you have that has been corrected for your signature. It's just Worley Highway and Kootenai School District's levy rates were altered.
All right, questions or motion?
Go ahead, Bill.
I move that we approve request by the auditor's office for certification of levy rates L1. Excuse me.
Second.
Commissioner Filios?
Aye.
Bill Brooks?
Aye.
Chair Duncan?
Aye, motion passes. Item 31, Public Defender Conflict Contract, and this is the administrator contract with Scott Noss. And is Leanna there to handle the next two items? Or no, Terry must be.
Nope.
I'd like to be heard.
Public comment comes at the end of the meeting.
Public comment, Leslie, now or later?
I respectfully ask hearings to go back to.
Okay, I don't know who is talking and about what item.
Good afternoon, Chairman. My name is
Push the button there.
Good afternoon, Chairman. My name is Safar Riyad. I'm a conflict public defender. I was wanting to be heard on this matter before the committee took a vote. Please.
Go right ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, commissioners. I hope you're all having a nice day. I'm here to ask that the county does provide more funds for the conflict public defenders. At this time, the rates not being increased has been quite insulting to quite a few of us. The reason for that is inflation alone would call for some sort of increase, but yet the contract pay per hour, depending on the case, has absolutely remained the same. And it's essentially the county commissioners have given us a pay cut by not giving any sort of increase. There are 7 conflict public defenders, maybe 8. I'm sorry if I apologize if I've got the count wrong. We all work hard for indigent defense when the public defender's office has a conflict, or really even excessive caseloads, they're having to pass them to us. We represent people, but we don't have the same resources available to us like the public defenders. Specifically, we don't even get a social worker to help us coordinate for our clients' mental health needs, drug and alcohol evaluations, which are all a benefit to the community when we have people that are incarcerated or alleged to have committed crimes, then be able to reach out these resources. Now, I do know that myself and a couple of other conflict defenders are fairly unhappy with this. It's put us in a situation where we feel like our work is undervalued and it is underpaid. The conflict federal defender contract pays $150 an hour. Our contract for a murder case pays $95 an hour, if I recall correctly. And then for the lowest cases, which is juvenile cases, which in my mind doesn't make sense because juvenile cases are just as important as adult cases, pay $80 an hour. That there, without an increase, has really put a sour taste in a lot of our mouths. Now, I am one of the people, I have renewed my contract because I believe in indigent defense, but at the same time, I believe that our work should be valued, and respectfully ask that the commissioners increase our budget, increase our hourly, make it simple, $150 across the board for all cases, because really we're still performing attorney work for all of these cases. And I know I bill at $250 an hour, that's because I've only been an attorney for 5 years, but there are gentlemen that bill at much higher rates but are still willing to do this work, and I think that should be accounted for here by the commissioners. Thank you. I'd love to take any questions.
Mr. Riyad?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And Mr. Riyad, I'm sorry that you and I didn't have a conversation before this meeting, but it's actually going to be on next week's business meeting to increase those fees. I don't have the exact number right now, but we are increasing the hourly rate. I've been working closely with Scott Noss to make those changes and to get some other items brought forward that were mentioned in the appreciation lunch for the contract offenders. So yes, we are very well aware of it, and I'm sorry that if anybody has felt slighted, but we have been working on it, but I've been out of town, and I will be at the business meeting next week, and that's when we were planning on taking up this, this information.
Well, I appreciate you, and I appreciate you letting me be heard. That goes a long way. Thank you.
Yes, you bet. All right, so Terry, oh, go ahead, Chris.
Why didn't this come up during budget?
That is a great question. It came up during the meeting that we have with them, and it's usually at the end of summer, maybe beginning of September. So this is one of those cases where you don't know until you know, and we've had some conflict turnover, so it's, yeah. But Leanne and I have been working on a solution, and we're going to be bringing it forward to the board for approval.
Okay. Fair enough.
2 o'clock.
All right. Yes. With any no further questions, I would take a motion. We're still on number 31 for the administrator contract.
If we're going to make a change in this next week, perhaps, why would we approve it today?
We are not making a change in number 31. We'll be making the change in number 32 because we want to make sure that coverage stays consistent. And so with item 32, what we will have is an amendment to those contracts to approve next week.
Okay, because I agree with Chris. This is interesting, and I think it deserves attention, but I think it should have been brought up during the budget process.
Anyway, okay.
Right?
Yep, I'll make a motion. So I move that we approve the public defender conflict contract with the administrator for Kootenai County.
I second the motion.
Commissioner Filios?
Aye.
Bill Brooks?
Nay.
Chair Duncan?
Aye. All right, motion passes. So item number 32, this is the annual renewal for the following conflict attorneys: Anderson, Bowes, Cheeseboro, Finley, Frampton, Haggerty, Nixon, Palmer, Pierce. Oh dear, he just spoke. Riyadh, sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Riffle, Schwartz, and Swartz. And then once again, these are just the standard contracts that were updated and approved. And then as what happened last year, we had amendments to these same contracts to increase the fees, because we did increase the hourly fees last year as well outside of budget season. So that's what we're looking at right now. And Terry, I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
No, I do not. Thank you.
All right, so any further questions or motion?
Go ahead, Bill.
I move that we approve the annual renewal with Anderson, Bowes, Cheeseboro, Findlay, Frampton, Haggerty, Nixon, Palmer, Pierce, Riyadh, Riffle, Schwartz and Schwartz Public Defender conflict contracts with the BOCC.
Second.
Commissioner Filios?
Aye.
Bill Brooks?
Aye.
Chair Duncan?
Aye. Motion passes. Item 33, board approval request. This is the extension of the March overtime policy, which was a temporary change to the calculation of hours. And Sylvia, are you present?
She is.
Great. I think Sylvia will handle this.
All right. Sylvia Proud, HR Director, for the record. Back in March of 2022, the board had approved a temporary overtime policy on changes to what's calculated as actual hours worked and for overtime purposes, and that included holidays, pre-approved, pre-planned vacation and court time. So what we come before the board is to ask that that be extended till December, end of December, and that we would bring back some sort of final policy after that. What this does by extending it, it allows specifically like the sheriff's office who's been short-staffed to work on getting their vacation hours down with their staff to a more reasonable level that they won't lose the time, and then we would like to revisit the policy at that time.
All right. Any questions?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, then I would entertain a motion to extend this temporary policy to December 31st.
I move that we
Go ahead,
extend
Bill.
extend the current policy for overtime policy, temporary change to calculation of hours to December 31st.
Second.
Commissioner Filios?
Aye.
Bill Brooks?
Aye.
Chair Duncan?
Aye, and motion passes. There is no update for the status pending list, and so is there any other public comment?
Doesn't sound like it.
Okay, I'm hearing none, and it is 2:46. This meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everybody.